On a dimly lit stage in front of millions of television viewers, one voice rose above expectation and silence alike, introducing Jourdan Blue, a singer whose story reads like a cautionary tale turned triumph. Tonight we dive into the journey of a man who went from busking on a street corner in New Orleans to earning a coveted golden buzzer on America's Got Talent. The tale is not just about singing, but about survival, redemption, and what happens when chance converges with preparation. In the next minutes you'll learn how his past almost destroyed the dream, how he seized the moment when it mattered most, and what comes next for this emerging artist. Many viewers know him simply as the emotional performance that brought judges to tears. Few know the full road behind that moment. From early years in church choirs to rough nights on the streets to this stage, his path is far from typical. We'll unpack each chapter: the street performer life, the turning point, the audition, the live shows, the finals, and his future ambitions. What you're about to hear isn't just entertainment, it's real life, full of setbacks, risk, and one unexpected burst of triumph. In a world of polished production and viral hits, Jourdan's story stands out because the voice sounds earned. So let's begin with where it all started. Imagine singing your heart out on a street corner late into the night, not for fame but simply to put food on the table. This was Jourdan's reality. Growing up in New Orleans, Jourdan discovered music early, singing in church and high school theater. He came from a background filled with expectations, his mother a police officer, his father a lawyer. But he veered off that predictable path and found himself on Bourbon Street, performing on the sidewalk with a speaker wired to a car battery, singing late into the night to support his girlfriend and their young son. His life teetered between survival and aspiration. For a time, the street was his stage and the passers-by his audience. Homelessness entered the story too, sleeping in bathrooms, sofa surfing, moving in with his grandfather when things became unbearable. He admitted to being in the wrong crowd as a teenager and was kicked out of school, which only deepened the uncertainty of his future. But even amidst the instability, the music never left him. The street performance nights, the raw exposure, the feedback of strangers all became his training ground. By 2021, during the pandemic, he began posting singing videos online and walking towards something bigger. A friend submitted one of his clips to audition producers for another show, signaling that his voice might reach more than just a Bourbon Street crowd. The momentum built slowly, but that street corner, those late nights, those raw performances, they shaped his voice and his story. The next chapter would bring a turning point, and it wouldn't happen where he expected. The moment that forced a change wasn't in a recording studio or a big audition. It was on his own performance block, when tragedy struck and shifted everything. On New Year's Day, a pickup truck plunged into the crowds on Bourbon Street, the same stretch where Jourdan regularly performed. He was meant to be there that night, but illness kept him home. In that twist he recognized how fragile life was, how unpredictable safety could be. That realization lit a fire under him. He told judges on the show that the attack made him look at his life differently. If he was willing to risk so much on the streets, maybe he owed it to his son, and to himself, to chase a stage built for dreams instead of survival. That decision led him to audition for America's Got Talent. He left the street corner behind and headed into the spotlight. It wasn't just about talent anymore. It was about purpose. In that moment, the street performer answered the call to bigger things. He swapped the open-air sidewalk for a televised stage, but the rawness of his voice, the edge of his struggle, carried over. He knew that performing in that huge arena meant more than singing. It meant owning the story behind the voice, letting the world in on what it had taken to get there. The next step, his audition. When he walked onto the AGT stage and opened his mouth, the room went still. His choice of song, Break Heaven by The Script. The performance was more than a cover, it became a declaration. The judges watched, the audience leaned in, and the golden buzzer from Howie Mandel fell. In that moment, the quiet street singer exploded into national attention. On stage, he didn't just sing, he revealed his scars. The camera captured his face, the emotion, the story he'd lived. Howie Mandel later told him that moment could take him anywhere. The reaction was electric, the approval unmistakable. Viewers and judges alike recognized something pure, raw, and undeniably real. He didn't hide the past, he used it. The audition wasn't just a step, it was a statement. It said, "I've been through this, I've done that, and now I belong here." The golden buzzer jump-started his journey through the live shows, but while that moment opened doors, the real test lay ahead. Live performances, national votes, health setbacks, and next we'll see how he dealt with those pressures. The spotlight can be unforgiving, and for Jourdan the live shows brought a new challenge: illness. Just before his live quarterfinal, he was offered the chance to use a dress rehearsal recording because of food poisoning. He refused. He insisted on performing live. The risk: his voice, his reputation, his chance at the final. The reward: authenticity, connection, proof of his commitment. He took the stage feeling weak, sick, vulnerable, but the performance carried more weight because of that. The judges noted the effort. The audience sensed the authenticity. He advanced to the semifinals, not just because of his voice, but because viewers believed in his fight. The street performer who risked nights for a stage now risked health for a shot at his dream. In that moment, his journey matured. It wasn't just about singing anymore. It was about survival, perseverance, and showing up even when every excuse said to stay home. He proved that the story behind the voice is as important as the voice itself. And what happened next? The finals. In the finals, Jourdan stepped into the full glare of the national stage, and he chose a song that startled many, Golden from a K-pop source. It was bold, unexpected, and showed a new side of the artist. The judges responded with standing ovations. The audience, they were hooked. He finished in third place in season 20, no small feat for someone who was busking months earlier. His final performance wasn't just impressive, it was transformative. It said, "This isn't a street act anymore. This is artistry in full bloom." His momentum didn't stop when the competition ended. Recognition, offers, and a studio beckoned. Winning would have been nice, but the journey now meant more than any trophy. The finals were more than a competition. They were a turning point. He walked away not just as a finalist, but as someone who had pivoted his life story in full view of the world. And as the cameras fade, the next chapter begins. Now that the lights of the competition are behind him, the question becomes, what's next for Jourdan Blue? He's working on original music, leaning into fatherhood, and using his platform to share not just his voice but his story. For his young son, this isn't just a performance, it's a legacy. His ambition stretches beyond charts and votes. He wants the music to heal, to connect, to respond to his past, and look ahead to a future built on purpose. The transformation from street performer to national stage isn't complete, it's evolving. And for viewers, the takeaway isn't only about talent. It's about timing, about risk, about stepping into the moment when it matters most. So here's the final thought. Sometimes the platform doesn't change you, you change the platform. Jourdan's rise shows that when you carry your story into the light, and when you risk more than just performance, the world notices. Tonight we saw someone who refused to be defined by where he started. He's defined by where he's going. From the street corners of New Orleans to the golden buzzer moment on AGT, Jourdan Blue's journey is a testament to resilience, voice, and opportunity. He had the challenge, he grabbed the moment, and he turned it into change. What remains now is what he makes of the new stage he's earned. So I'll leave you with this. If someone can turn busking into national attention and survival into story, what might you do with your moment? Share in the comments which part of Jourdan's journey stood out to you, and don't forget to check out his performances if you haven't yet. Thanks for watching.